Driving home with BCFM 93.2, the station you can count on.
Well, it's International Press Freedom Day today, and talking of which, the NATO zone Bilderberg Power Elite come to Hertfordshire in June. Let's hope there's a little bit of coverage for it in the British mainstream press. There's only two things to do: arrest all these Bilderbergers for war, crimes and fraud, or to party. But it looks like the latter will be what's happening this year. I'm proud to say there's going to be an absolute first here in Britain. It's called the Bilderberg Fringe Festival, an imaginative way of protesting against the world's most powerful criminal cartel, founded by a Nazi SS officer, Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, and chaired by him for 20 years. The Bilderberg Conference brings together the arms manufacturers, bankers, royalty and industrialists that control almost all the money in the Western world, and they want to use it to make some more, whoever gets in their way. But this year they face a new and dangerous foe, the British musicians and comedians headlining at the Bilderberg Fringe. Now, it's all taking place near their Hertfordshire Conference Centre on the second weekend in June, as Hannah Bono explains.
Hi. So yeah, it is looking extremely likely that the Bilderberg conference this year is going to be in Watford. Obviously they don't confirm it, but all the signs point to it. And Jim Tucker did confirm it just before he died, and he's usually accurate. So it'll be at the Grove Hotel in Watford from the 6th to the 9th of June. The hotel will be in lockdown for 5 days, and the police have confirmed that they are undertaking a 10-day security exercise in the grounds of the hotel. The delegates are expected to arrive on the afternoon and evening of Thursday the 6th of June, and they'll leave on the morning of Sunday the 9th of June. So at this 3-day conference, we expect UK politicians from both the left and the right to meet in armed privacy with the CEOs of banks, corporations, heads of state, hedge fund executives, presidents and senior officials from influential think tanks and foundations such as the Brookings Institute, the Hudson Institute, the Carnegie Endowment for World Peace. European finance ministers and senior representatives or presidents from the major international institutions will be there: NATO, the EU, the IMF, the World Bank, the European Central Bank and the World Trade Organization. George Osborne has now attended 4 Bilderberg conferences, and Bilderberg steering committee member Kenneth Clark is always there. Conference regular Lord Mandelson will no doubt be present, and it's possible that David Cameron will attend this year's meeting. Whizzing past us in tinted limousines, we'll be seeing the CEOs and chairmen of banks and corporations such as Barclays, HSBC, Santander, Nestle, Novartis, Airbus, Microsoft, Unilever, AXA, Deutsche Bank, Evercore, Fiat, Siemens, Royal Dutch Shell, Michelin and Goldman Sachs. Plus the usual smattering of senior US State Department, Federal Reserve and Treasury officials, national security advisors, Pentagon top brass and the head of the NSA. Long-time Bilderberg participants Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller will rub shoulders with conference regulars Bill Gates, Eric Schmidt, chairman of Google, and Peter Thiel, founder of PayPal. The Dutch royal family, the Norwegian royal family and always the Spanish royal family as well. And I think Prince Philip did attend once, I think when it was in Scotland. Philip has attended many years ago. I mean, that would be amazing if we could catch one of them going in. And just out of interest, Marcus Agius, a member of the 39-strong Bilderberg Steering Committee, is senior non-executive director of the BBC and sits on the BBC's new executive board. And to give you some idea of the uncanny political intuition illustrated by the steering committee, Barack Obama, David Cameron, Bill Clinton and Tony Blair all attended the conference just before they were elected. The Bilderberg Group doggedly maintains that all participants attend as private individuals, but a recent FOI request from the Treasury revealed that George Osborne attended the 2011 conference in St Moritz in his official capacity as Chancellor, and the taxpayer paid for his travel. There is also evidence that policies are formulated at this opaque and undemocratic forum. Indeed, former NATO Secretary General and two-time Bilderberg attendee Willy Klaus spoke of how all participants are given reports, feedback from the steering committee on 10-minute presentations they give to the conference. And he said the participants are then obviously considered to use this report in setting their policies in the environments in which they affect. Over the past few years, more and more of us are realising that this completely private policy-forming event is the very antithesis of open participatory democracy. For too long, this yearly conference has taken place under the media radar. More than ever before in this current economic climate, we have a right to know what is discussed when our elected public officials meet privately with the very CEOs of the major banks that they are giving billions to in bailouts. It's high time that this embargo was lifted so this major international summit finally receives the media attention it very much deserves. And with this end in mind, activists from all over the world will be travelling to Watford to shine light upon this meeting and to protest the conference's lack of transparency. Occupy Bilderberg and anti-cuts protesters from the UK will seek out the very architects of austerity as they meet in hiding. Furthermore, this is the fun bit, a group of concerned citizens are this year launching the Bilderberg Fringe Festival, comprising of talks, workshops, comedy and music on the 8th and the 9th of June. Joining the Fringe Festival, and I hope you all will come along over that weekend, is a chance to protest against the pinnacle of corporate lobbying and to witness at close hand the extraordinary power of the military, industrial, financial complex in action. But it's also a chance to network with like-minded people, participate in some fun and uplifting events, and to hear inspiring talks by some of the finest minds in the alternative media today. So if anyone wants to get involved in any capacity with organising the Bilderberg Fringe, helping with the press centre that we also hope to set up, or would like any information at all on this unique weekend, please get in contact with us through the website, which is bilderberg2013.co.uk, where we'll be posting updates and the itinerary as we have it, or the email address that you get is bilderberg2013@yahoo.co.uk. So that's bilderberg2013@yahoo.co.uk, and I hope to see as many of you possible there. It is hectic, but it's great fun. So thanks very much.
Wow, Hannah, thanks very much. Martin, one of the things Hannah mentioned there was that the BBC executive board guy, Marcus Agius, is there. One thing she didn't say is that he's also one of the senior people at Barclays Bank. I mean, this is a little bit unhealthy, isn't it, when you've got someone who's making big decisions about what programmes are going to be made and which programmes aren't going to be made, and they're also, I mean, I don't imagine that he's going to be commissioning programmes about LIBOR fraud, for example.
No, indeed, and of course, if I come back to Francesco Imposimosto, who I mentioned earlier, is the head of the Italian Supreme Court, has just published a book in which he says Bilderberg were behind the Gladio terrorism in Italy in the 1970s and the 1980s. So he specifically accuses the Bilderberg Group of being behind things like the Bologna bombing, the Piazza Fontana bombing. This is the head of the Italian Supreme Court. For the gangsters, the time is up.
Driving home with BCFM 93.2, the station you can count on.
I'm quite proud that it's happening here.